Good morning, children of class 9. Today, in chemistry, we will be continuing with the fifth chapter of periodic table. And the last time we had done video 2, in that we had studied about Mendeleev's periodic table, and this table contains both vertical columns called groups and the horizontal columns called periods. The Mendeleev's periodic table distributed only about 66 known elements of his time, but he showed many merits in his table, like gaps of the undiscovered elements he had kept, then prediction of properties of the undiscovered elements. He had given the prediction beforehand. Then correction of the incorrect atomic masses was some of the merits of Mendeleev's periodic table. Then we also saw some defects in his periodic table, like anomalous pairs of elements were there. Then we saw position of isotopes were not explained correctly. Then we saw grouping of dissimilar elements was unexplained in Mendeleev's table. We also saw wrongly separating chemically similar elements were there. Elements that were similar in chemical properties, but they were wrongly separated and kept far from each other. Then we saw that the electron arrangement of elements was not explained because the atomic number was not known during Mendeleev's time. Then we saw that the position of hydrogen was very unclear. He could not explain why hydrogen was placed in 1A as well as 7A group in his periodic table. Then we also studied in last video that Henry Moseley was a man who discovered the atomic number, and as number of protons in the atomic nucleus. He said that should be the basis of the modern periodic table. And he gave the definition that the physical and chemical properties of elements are a periodic function of their atomic numbers. This was the first difference. All other tables that were formed or attempted before Moseley were dependent upon the atomic mass. For the first time, Moseley's modern periodic table is dependent upon atomic number. So we see here, the children, that we do have a look at the periodic table today. Look at it properly. The periodic table is laid right before your eyes, and today we will see it just in a general manner. We will go into the details of the properties of various elements, into more details later. Now, what is periodicity of the elements? Here you see the elements are laid here one after the other in various periods. These are all 7 periods, and we see here there are 18 groups: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 18 groups are there and 7 periods are there. So in this we see what is periodicity. After a definite interval of atomic numbers, the recurrence or the repetition of the property of elements at regular intervals takes place. For example, we see lithium is here. Now when this period gets over, then the next element, sodium, with similar properties and with similar electronic configuration, comes under lithium. Then again, after this period is over, again the next element, potassium, that comes under sodium. It repeats the property of sodium. This is also an alkali metal. This is also an alkali metal. This is also an alkali metal. So at regular intervals, the repetition of the chemical properties takes place. This is known as periodicity of chemical properties. What is the reason for periodicity in properties? Since the properties of elements are dependent on number and arrangement of electrons, including electrons in the valence shell. each one of these, they have got electrons in shells, which we had seen in the chapter of atomic structure, that the electrons, they are arranged or they are put in shells. And we see that the way these electrons are arranged in the shells and the electronic configuration, that marks the periodicity in properties. And those elements that are having similar electronic configuration, like I gave the example of lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium here, we see that the elements having similar electronic configuration have similar properties. Likewise, we can see here aluminium, gallium, elements that are coming one under the other. These all show similar properties. Likewise, carbon, silicon, germanium, all these show similar properties. In this particular column or group, we see fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So all these show similar properties. So this is known as the periodicity in the property of elements. Some periodic properties are atomic radii. We can see here in the pages of this book that the atomic radii are very, very important. You see here different radii are shown. This is a small radius. Here is lithium shown, then sodium is shown. So we see that the atomic radii are slowly increasing. So then after this, potassium is shown, then rubidium, then cesium is shown. Every time we see that the length of the radii is increasing. So we see here atomic radius is the distance between the center of the nucleus and the outermost shell. This is the distance of the atomic radii. Then we see ionization potential. This is the amount of energy which is required to remove one electron from the outermost shell of an isolated atom. Now all these are what? All these are atoms. So the energy that is required to take out one electron from this particular element is the ionization energy. And so more ionization energy is required every time that we go on to the next element in this particular period. Ionization energy is the amount of energy required to remove an electron from the outermost shell of an isolated gaseous atom. Then we come to electron affinity. What is electron affinity? It is the amount of energy released. It is not the energy required, but it is the energy which is released when an atom in a gaseous state accepts an electron to form an anion. If you remember the example that we had used of making NaCl. So sodium, it gave one electron to chlorine, and when chlorine accepted that electron, so energy was released here. This energy on receiving electron is known as the electron affinity. The amount of energy released when an atom is in the gaseous state accepts one electron to form an anion. So the chlorine atom, it had formed an anion or a negatively charged ion by accepting an extra electron. Then we see on page number 83 how the arrangement is done here. I have already told you about the 7 horizontal rows, and I talked about the 18 columns or the 18 groups which are present here. The periods, each of the 7 periods, they begin with an element having one electron in the outermost shell and ends with completely filled outer shell elements across a period. So when we go from left to right in a period, children, then we see here in the outermost shell there is only one electron. Then in the next one are 2 electrons, and so on. So in the last one, the second last column, of the third period, we see chlorine has got 7 electrons in its outermost shell, and argon is an inert gas in the 18th group of this period. This argon has got its octet complete, so it has got 8 electrons in its outermost shell. So we see children here that periods, each period begins with an element having 1 electron in outermost shell and ends with completely filled outer shell elements across a period in a transition from metallic to non-metallic character. Here all are metals, alkali metals, alkaline earth metals. After that are transition elements, transition metals, and then we come to the non-metals, and at the end we come to gases and the inert gases. Then in groups, first and the second group are reactive metals. Here we see first two groups, first and second. These are reactive metals. Then we see groups 3 to 12. Groups 3 to 12, these are called transition elements or transition metals. After this, groups 13 to 17 that we see here, these are called the non-metallic groups in the upper right hand corner. Then we see the last group 18, which is known as the noble or the inert gas group. Then we come to about the periods in detail. We will look at the periods in detail. 7 horizontal rows represent 7 periods. The first period contains 1 shell. Can you see here? This is the first period here, showing hydrogen and helium. So this period contains only 1 shell. That's why it is numbered 1. Second period has got 2 shells, K and L. Second period, it contains 2 shells. The third period, it contains 3 shells, K, L, M. And here the shell is completed by 8 number of electrons. Then we see that and so on. The fourth and the fifth and sixth and seventh, they also contain more number of shells. Like fourth one contains 4 shells, fifth one contains 5 shells, sixth contains 6 shells, and seventh period contains 7 shells. Now let us look at these one by one. And the first period, we see this period is the shortest period. Then the second and the third period, they contain 8 elements each. This is a short period. Then we come on to the next period, which is the fourth and the fifth period. These fourth and the fifth periods, they contain 18 elements each. And so these are known as the long periods. After that we come to the sixth period, which is the longest period, having 32 elements. Then seventh period, which contains 32, but this period is incomplete. Atomic number 87 onwards, this period goes up till atomic number 118. We see here atomic number 118. So, but this group is still incomplete period. Type of elements we come across in the periodic table. We come across representative elements. The representative elements, if you see here, are here. These are the representative elements here, and they are this side also. These are also representative elements. These are in the S, P block elements. These include the S and P block elements that you will study in classes 11th and 12th. Then we come across transition elements that we already talked about. All these metals are transition elements. Then we talk about the inner transition elements. The inner transition elements are shown here. The lanthanide and the actinide series, which are from atomic number 58 to 71 is the lanthanide series, and from atomic number 90 till 103 is the actinide series. So these two series are the inner transition elements, and these elements in the last group or the 18th group, these are the inert gases or noble elements. So we see group 1 and 2 are alkali metals. Then the second group is known as alkaline earth metal. Then we see that group 13 is known as the boron family because it starts with element boron. Then group 14 is known as the carbon family because it starts with first member carbon. The next group 15 starts with nitrogen, so it's known as the nitrogen family. Likewise 16 group starts with oxygen, so it is the oxygen family. And likewise the 17th group, it starts with halogen, which is a salt former. So this starts with fluorine. So that is all that I've generally told you about the periodic table. We would go into great details in the next video. So till then, children, wish you all the best. Have a look nicely at this video. Have a good day. Thank you.